Hashchastani Amar bin Ficha Achas Yotza. Now, this we found a brisa which says that you have to the Amar bin Ficha Achas means you're supposed to tkiya true tkiya one exhalation, one breath. Hashchastani. There's a brisa which you found which said bin Ficha Achas Yotza, right? That you're yotze with one breath, but that sounds like you're yotze, but you don't have to do it in one breath, right? So it says Gemara Vatnina and Seder Tkiya Shlosha Shloisha Vatnina Seder Tkiya. I'm sorry, it's not a bit to me. It's a statement. Vatnina we found breath is Seder Tkiya Shlosha Shlosha. It says that you should do the Seder Tkiyos 3 each of 3, meaning tarat, right? Tkiya, true, tkiya, tkiya, true, tkiya, tkiya, true, tkiya. Sounds like it's supposed to be 3 separate kolos, right? So as more notional yivchos, it means that it's not. Doesn't mean that they have to all be done in 3 separate breaths. It could be all done in the same breath, but it has to be 3 distinct sounds. So that's what you have to have. So Rabbi Abba B'Shem Rav said, in fact, it's machlokas. Tzarich l'riyah mitoch pshuta. This statement held that you have to actually have the truth coming out of the tkiyah. It's not clear exactly what it means. It sounds like it has to be b'neshimachos, has to be one exhalation, but not necessarily. It could be that it's just that it has to be immediately adjacent there too. It's not clear. Right? B'Shem Abba Bar Chuno said, "Ain't it tzarich l'riyah pshuta? One doesn't have to come out of the other." What's a trua? Rabbi Chanina Raimonach.
It's a little bit hard to do it in the same breath, simply because you have a makri. He's telling you what the note is.
Well, who said the Yerushalmi had a makri? The Bavli doesn't even mention the makri. As far as I know, it's not mentioned anywhere in the Shas. We made it up for our own convenience. Okay? So, it says, what is a true? It's like trumpet blast. That's what we call a true. The other said tlaskik on 3 short blasts. What we call a shvorim. Should be d-day. Chino did both, right? That Raimon said that which he himself says. So that's where we have the way we do it today. And where do we find a similar statement to our Mishnah, which is which says that you need to have distinct kolos, meaning if you made a tkiya, a long tkiya, and try to count it as 2, that doesn't work. They have to be distinct. Where do we see that? Talk about Shana, we had a previous in Masechta. Talk about Shana, you blew a long tkiya, Moshe b'shnei kushtaim, you made it as if it was 2, and B'yar al-achas only counts as 1. Rabbi Abba bar Zmina b'shem Rabbi Zir said, I feel achas and other. He said you don't even count, doesn't even count as 1. We don't paskin like him, but he says I even count as 1. Lamar, why? Rosha gabe sofa mitzvah. The end of it, the beginning of it, never prevents it from being considered a complete key at the end, and sofa gabe rosha mitzvah in the end of it prevents it from being a complete key at the beginning. Lo rosha isli so his beginning doesn't have an end. Lo sofa isli rosha, his end does not have a beginning, so he comes out with nothing. Okay. Now, interesting Gemara. We have a choice of going to 2 shuls. One of them is a shul in which they blow shofar. The other one they daven musaf. I don't know. Neither shul does both. Okay? One shul does one shul does the other. Where should you go? East Tani, this is a funny question. East Tani, those said, okay, should go to the place where they blow.
Well, that's the chiyuv.
That's what you say. Just a minute. East Tani, those who say you should go to that place to have a musaf. So Gemara says, he says to go to the Tokea, because when there's not enough time left in the day to be Tokea, unless you go there. He says, no, go to the Musaf guy, and then go to the Musaf, the chapper right there, and then you go afterwards to hear shofar. So it sounds like you so far, right? That really doesn't mean you should go to that Musaf say if you're in Tkiyas. It means that there's enough time, so go hear Musaf and then go to Tkiyas afterwards.
Musaf you could do b'yachidus, Tkiyas.
That we're getting to. Says the Gemara, Nishmini Minado. Let's try and bring another proof from here that there's a machlokas. Okay, there's actual machlokas. In other words, till now we're saying don't really argue. The guy says Mavarch Lav Dafki. Man, if there's enough time to go there and get back. Says Manat. Let's say they talk argue. If one place they build shor, the other place they're making musaf. Okay, you go to the place where they're blowing shor, not the place where they're blowing, not the place where they're making the brachos. That's one opinion. Where's the other opinion? Which where's would tell the other opinion? The other Rosh HaShanah comes out on Shabbos. One place they're blowing shor, the other place they're making musaf. You go to a place without any musaf and not the place where they're blowing.
That's because it's Shabbos.
Right.
No. I thought about that. Not because of that. No, but that's going to be a factor, but not because of that. Lama, why is that? Gemara gives a reason. Shakol yoidim l'tkoa. Anybody can blow shofar. V'ena kol yoidim mevarach. It's even an amateur. Truth is, I've never done it, but Gemara is assuming even an amateur can blow shofar. So if you don't need an expert about okay, so do it yourself. But Musaf, they didn't have Sidurim back then. So if you don't know Musaf, where are you going to hear Musaf? You don't go to hear Musaf. Okay? Dovrach, another interpretation. You know what? It only takes two people to be Yetzi Shofar. The Tokea and the Shomea. But how many people does it take to be Yetzi Musaf? 10.
No, Musaf.
Because you need a Musaf minion. How many Jews does it take to screw in a light bulb? Right? You need 10 Jews in order to make them in order to be Yetzi Musaf. Okay? The other Moitzi de Chaver B'Tkiya, Ve'ena Moitzi de Chaver B'Vracha, person can be Moitzi his friend in B'Vracha. Yotam Shosh Chayas B'Shabbos. Says the Gemara, Yotam of Rosh HaShanah, which happens on Shabbos, Lo K'mi Shem B'Yotam K'dei L'Tkoa. This is a proof. We're just elaborating the proof. Yotam Rosh HaShanah on Shabbos, where do they blow shofar? Only in basin. Basin.
Oh, basin.
If the basin disperses, when the basin disperses, you can no longer blow shofar. So this is definitely a time when Ein Lo Shos Litka. Right? We tell for sure Yom Rosh HaShanah comes on Shabbos. If you miss the one time a day when they're blowing a shofar, you can't come later on and have shofar blown for you. Yet nevertheless, it says go to the Mevarach and not to the Lokea, right? This tells us that they argue that some people place greater emphasis on Musaf. Even if you're not going to hear a shofar that day. Even if you're not going to hear it, it's still better to go to Musaf. Gamliel says that Shliach Tzibur can be Motzi the Rabbim, they're Chiyav and Shmon Esrei. Even though normally we daven our own Shmon Esrei, by Musaf Rosh HaShanah, Kiyasa here means Musaf Rosh HaShanah, we rely on him because it's very difficult for everybody to know it.
Is he saying in a circumstance where you're not hearing it? Or
no, you are hearing it.
I'm wondering, in the context of what we were just saying before, whether you should go to hear Musaf or not go.
Yeah.
So the question is, he's saying this, even if you don't, it's better to go hear the shofar because
What do you mean? Who's saying Ran Gamliel?
Yeah.
How so?
What I'm wondering is he saying that it's better to go hear the shofar blowing because in terms of Musaf, even if you don't hear the Musaf, the Shliach Tzibur is Motzi everybody.
You have to be there in order
No, you have to be there. Yeah.
That's what I'm suggesting. Is he saying
got to be there.
Sorry.
Shomea Kaona.
Yes, the Shoel Shomea Kaona. He doesn't believe us.
The ideal solution would be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, that it just seems strangely sticking this in the context of what happened before. This doesn't relate to what we just did, and it's like out of nowhere.
It's not out of nowhere, because you don't see there's Musaf.
Limit her to the Yerushalmi, why don't you just sing this out of the clear blue? Well, okay.
That's hot tonight. It's steaming.
Because I have no milk in there. Felicia.
An ideal situation would have been for them to blow shofar during Musaf. So you could go hear Musaf and also hear shofar.
Right, obviously that's an ideal. I don't know.
Because we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's about a case where there weren't so many shofars around. I don't know. Rabbi Zir Rav Chisda Yasvin. Tamon B'Tkiyasa. Rabbi Zir and Rabbi Chisda were sitting over there at the time Musa Shmon Esrei on Rosh HaShanah. Mean the tzon es slosa after the Shliach Tzibur daven. Interesting, Shliach Tzibur daven first. Now they got Chazor Shots. See, they knew how to do it right. Time Chazor Shots comes along, everybody wants to go home, right? So they did first the Shliach Tzibur davening. So I mean the tzon out said slosa kumir Rav Chisda got up, it's Matzi went daven. Amalei Rav Zir said look for tzim, the way daven already heard Musaf. Amalei, so he said, Matzil never closed her mouth. So I have to die, I daven, but I have to daven again. The Nachtun Ma'aravim, and because they came down from Eretz Yisrael, and Ma'aravim means Eretz Yisrael, from the west. Rami Taman, they said there, B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan, named Rabbi Yochanan, Halokran Gamliel Blin Kiyosa. So Halokran Gamliel, that he be from Shliach Tzibur. But v'ana the low kavanis, but I did not have proper kavana. And ilu kavanis, no, only if you had proper kavanos, you have to hear mila b'mila. It's not so simple. That's why generally you don't encourage this business of being yotzei your chiyuv by shomei kaona, because you have to have proper kavana. So he said I didn't have proper kavana, so I have to do it over again. Amrei Zir said v'yos. Now, in any event, that which he passes in Gamliel is proper, and the evidence for this is Rabbi Yosha Rabbi Yosha said in his brisa in name of Chachamim that one is Yotzei Shomei Kona by Musa Shmor Rosh HaShanah. So we see that this is obviously the proper psak. Rabbi Yad Kisar Mishem Rabbi Yochanan said Vushi Esham V'Lo Shotfil. You have to hear from the beginning. You can't come to the Shmor Esrei and start listening from Machaz Zichron to Shabbos. You have to hear the whole thing from the beginning. On right down, Rabbi Yirmiyah Masisa on Markain, the Mishnah says Seder B'Lachais Omer Avos Gvurus Kedushas Hashem. You have to start from the very beginning and hear Avos Gvurus Kedushas Hashem as well. Hajlach Berch Yadav Slicham Mesechus Rosh HaShanah. Hajlach Berch Yadav Slicham Mesechus Rosh HaShanah. Hajlach Berch Yadav Slicham Mesechus Rosh HaShanah.
It's clear that the subsequent context of this Gemara is saying that Rabbi Muller is talking about...
I'm very upset that I didn't remember to bring anything. But neither did you guys remember to bring anything. Yerushalmi Masechta said a dime a dozen, right?
No. So it's clear that Rabbi Muller was talking about the context where he had it.
We had what?
They put Rabbi Gamliel the context of Rabbi Gamliel is said from what's taking place afterwards, rather than what was said before. And afterwards is whether the person had kavanah before the chazan or not.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's clear what both of you said is correct, rather than what I suggest.
Right. They have to have kavanah. It's not just enough to be that they have a kind of city to it. Although. There is a Gemara Brachos which we saw. Now I just realized there is a Gemara Brachos which says something like that you don't necessarily have to daven chazars or shots. You don't have to necessarily daven musaf as long as somebody in the city is davening musaf. The chaver ear is davening musaf. We have that in Yerushalmi Brachos, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. That not everybody has to daven musaf individually. But I don't think the Yerushalmi is referring to that over here. Okay. Yuma. Way back at the beginning of the book. By the way, tonight's blot is Yuma Chav Beis.
What's that?
Yuma Chav Beis.
Catching up.
Yeah. Because that's the way Yerushalmi Luach has it. I don't know if it's a good reason, but this is the reason. Shivas Yom Kohen Yom Kippurim. 7 days prior to Yom Kippur. First, Marfishim Kohen Gadol Beis. There's a lot of chazar from Bavli. And you separate the Kohen Gadol from his house, Lichkos Parhedrin, to the special office of Beis Hamikdash. Maskin Lo Kohen Acher, you set aside another Kohen. Tachtov, instead of him, is a backup. Shemir Babsul, maybe it'll become puzzle. Maybe you'll Af Isha Ches Maskin Lo, you give him another wife. Shemat Ambus Ishto, maybe his wife will die. Shemar Kiper Badov Ad Beiso, has to do for him and the members of his household. Beiso Ishto, his household is his wife. Amrul Chacham said, so if that's the case, maybe the second wife will die. Let's make more takonos, etc., etc. Right? How do you know he has to separate 7 days before Yom Kippur? Look down here. Kasher Asab Yom, it says by the Miluim, when the Aaron and his kids are being sanctified, consecrated for the Avodah. Kasher Asab Yom says, we did it on this day. Elushiv's made Miluim. The 7 days Miluim Tzivah Hashem L'Doi Rois. Hashem command for all generations last sos to do. Zeh Soyer Shli Yom Kippurim, is it specifically before the story of Yom Kippur? And El Soyer Shli Rosh Chodesh, maybe every Rosh Chodesh. He has to separate 7 years, right? 7 days, because there's also a story L'Chapir. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Pa, L'Chapir Aleichem. No, it says that Kasher Tzivah Hashem Asos L'Chapir Aleichem. Kapar Aleichem means kapara. Shikazu has to be a similar type of kapara. Mazu kapara is Aaron Latzo. Kapara is Banim Latzo. By Miluim, there was a separate kapara for Aaron, a separate kapara for his kids. Abzu, so too. We're talking about when the other times had two separations for 7 days. There are times when kapara is Aaron Latzmo, kapara is Banim Lebatzmon. Or the kapara for his Aaron and his kids are separate, which of course is Yom Kippur when each one has their own separate korban. He learns it out from here, or the following way, I should say. Tziva Hashem, so to Hashem commanded for all generations. Not Yom Kippur, but rather before you do a paraduma, you have to separate 7 days. Nemar kan Tziva Hashem, because here it says God commanded. Nemar and the law says by paraduma, so Chukas Ator Asher Tziva Hashem, which God commanded. Labor, etc. Lasos. Now, it also says my miluim lasos, right? L'chaper lasos, or whatever the exact language is, I forget. But anyway, it says lasos. So for that, he also learns about kapara, learns the additional facet of Prisha before Yom Kippur. Maybe him also Sir Shosh Chodesh. No, Kihidam Raibah Chaper Lechem. It's like Raibah said, it's a tom which is L'chaper Alechem. Kapar Shikazu one which is like the Miluim. Mazu, just like the Miluim, Kapar She'enek She'el B'koyin Gadol, only Koyin Gadol could do it. Avzu Kapar She'enek B'koyin Gadol. So too when it says Lasos, it's sorry about a Kapara, which comes on Koyin Gadol, which is only Yom Kippur. Mabi Koyin service part of the Koyin Gadol Yom Kippur now is what is the qualitative difference between Zafrosha done for Koyin Gadol Yom Kippur and Zafrosha going done for the regular Koyin who does the Paraduma? I'll tell you, it's a good question you're asking. It's Zafrosha B'Tahara. You want to do Paraduma with extra special on Tahara? Remember extra special on it? Why? Because we were going to do the ultimate Maisa Paradum with a full Yom. Because it's talking about the full Yom can't do it. So if we're extra special with the Madregas of Tara before, I had to show that it's not because we're Mizalda and Tumah of Tara, Chas V'Sholem, but in order to prove the Tzdokim wrong, that we would do it with the full Yom. So there was the extra special Afrosha, and Shazar for Shosa B'Tara, Ve'ein Echav HaKonim Nogim Bo, therefore the brothers Konim would not touch him unless they themselves would tell me. About Zah for Shas B'Kedusha post Afrosha for Yom Kippurim, it is a reflective, contemplative type of Afrosha. And therefore Echav HaKonim Nogim Bo, his brothers Konim can touch him because they're not so afraid of his coming tummy. Now, Al Daited Rabbi Yochanan. Now, according to Rabbi Yochanan, it should be not do Yolif, but the Lo Yolif. The loyal flamin hardin korea. He doesn't learn from these paraduma, from these psukim by miluim. He doesn't learn that out. It should be not shama law, but shemai law para. It's a mila drabanan by para that was super makbid in order to stick it in the eye of the tzdokim, right? But not that we inherently have to be so makbid because the Torah says so. Silsul b'para, it's a special chumrah which we have by paraduma. Says Mornicho, okay, that makes sense. Al daiti de kapara, but according to Bar Kapara, it should be Diyoli Flamin Karya, who learns that from Miluim. Lama Kan Nogim, Mekan Enogim, it's the same source text, Miluim. Why is there qualitative difference? In one case they can touch the guy, in the other case they can't touch the guy. If it's both Miluim from Miluim, so there should be the same type of parameters. It says Gemara, Amrechia Barada, Shloitamo, so Chova Kohanim. Says Gemara, you're right. Ena Chanami. The Afrosha for 7 days is learned from Miluim, but that is other Kohanim shouldn't touch him. That's a special chumrah which we have in order that the tzdokim should be psyched out. Says Gemara, "V'lo kachenu metame machma tame machma sayosa." As he also says Gemara, why not have his brothers Kohanim touch him? Lamaisa, all 7 days we sprinkle the ashes for the poor. We asked this question above as well. All 7 days we sprinkle on paraduma ashes. He doesn't need it all 7 days. Now, loch is that paraduma is right? So anyway, the guy's going to be tummy every night during the Shiva Smiach Rosh until Harav Shemesh, until night falls, right? So what do you care if his brothers, the other Kohanim, touch him? Same idea, right? So says Gemara, I'm Rabbi Buna, Apakapar, you're right, back me into a corner. Enachanami. Pakaparos Machmir Islam Mishum Mailu Bepara Silsul Bepara. It's a special mile that we do it that way, even though it really doesn't make any sense. Hashem and Lakish boy kum Rabbi Yochanan. Hashem and Lakish asked for Rabbi Yochanan. Now here I'm going to like to read Bas. He said, Imar el Milui Makiv Avsor Shom Kippur Makiv. You want to learn from Miluim to Yom Kippur, so what are you going to say? Just like El Miluim is Makiv, so to the Sor Shom Kippur is Makiv. And that's why you can draw a parallel from one to each other, because they're both necessary. It's not true. Sor Yom Kippur is not Makiv. Right?
What, for the kapara?
Yeah. If you don't have one, for what it's Mechaper, it's Makiv. But you don't have one, you can do the rest of the Avodah anyway. Whereas the Elam Miluim, by our own consecrating without the he couldn't become a Kohen. So how can you learn from one to the other? Ibayel Miluim Makiv, Sershio Kir Makiv? It's not. V'makavu minei. Not only that, Rabbi Yochanan accepted this refutation of his statement. I mean, how do I know? Since Raimon said, Raimon said, I don't understand how Rishim and Lakish could have asked such a question, and Rabbi Yochanan accepted. Yosivne, Rabbi Yochanan should have answered, how you don't think we found sometime when something which is not an impediment is learned out from something which is an impediment is learned out from something which is not an impediment, and something which is not an impediment, learned out from something which is an impediment. I'll prove to you from several places. For example, Moloch Vita, we have a classic Yerushalmi. It says in Moloch Vita, a parallel, Ekesh. It says, do malika, right? Get slightly to the bird's neck, and then do aktore. We darshen, ma malika berosh hamizbeach. Just like malika is on the top of the mizbeach, up aktore, so to aktore is on berosh hamizbeach. How can we learn one of the other? Malika ma'keves, malika you got to do right, because you got to get the blood out of the animal, right? And aktore ma'keves, so you don't have to aktore if you don't put the bird on top of mizbeach, you say. You nevertheless, you draw heckage to each other. Furthermore, Tommy. We learn Xershava Tommy. Now my Tommy Chavit says Tommy by the pancakes of the Kohen Gadol. And now my Tommy Lechem Aponi says Tommy Lechem Aponi. My Tommy Amur B'Chavitim, just like Tommy just said by the pancakes of the Kohen Gadol, is 12. Shnei Masar is 12. After Tommy Amur B'Lechem Aponi, Shnei Masar Lechem, it's 12. Shnei Masar, it's 12 breads. Now, again, the same question. Lechem Aponi Makvi. Lechem Aponi, you gotta have the Beis HaMikdash. And Chavitim Makeves. But the Chavitim, they're not essential. They're good, but they're not essential. So we learn something which is a Ikuf for something which is not an Ikuf. How can we do that? Another kasha is Lekicha. Is there a Shabbat to take a bundle? Namar Lekicha Mitzrayim, it says Lekicha by in Egypt they had to take a bundle to dip in the blood and spread the lamb's blood on their doors. Namar Lekichas Lulav. It says you take a lulav. Mitzrayim Aguda. It says you should take a bunch as well. Malakicha. Malakicha Lemon Mitzrayim Aguda. Just like the Lekicha, which is saying Mitzrayim is an Aguda, was bundled together. Avakicha Mer Lulav. So that when you take a lulav, Aguda Ogda Lulav, Aguda Lulav Makif. You have to bond it, tie it together with one of those kosher glach, whatever it is. So we see Mitzrayim made a makeves that they should put the blood on the doorpost of Mitzrayim. It's not an impediment. I mean, it was good because otherwise they would get killed, but it was not necessary. Willst du gestorben? And go die. But Hare Matana Davar Makiv Lami Davar Shen Makiv. The sign which is not an impediment is not a sign which is an impediment, or vice versa. Davar Shen Makiv Lami Davar Makiv. And so which is an impediment is an not impediment. So Harashim Lakish Makshi may mean Harashim Lakish Makshi. So Shem says you can't learn from Miluim to Yom Kippur, to the Hafrosh, because Miluim is Makiv, Yom Kippur is not, right? So it's more okay, since it's such a big shot. I mean, Hein Meisler, Hashem and Lakish, so when Hashem and Lakish learn the 7 days of Hafrosh? Says more, I'm happy you asked, because the other time is Rabbi Shmuel, we learn how to Rabbi Shmuel, B'zois Yovar Aaron El HaKodesh. With this, Aaron should come to the Kodesh. Ka'amur, as it says, Be'inyan, like it says in the matter, Ma Amor Be'inyan, because Amor Be'inyan is not the Indian of Yom Kippur, but the Indian of Miluim, because words also superfluous. So you say Ma'ar Be'inyan Ma'prisha So Kol Shiva V'Oivi Kol Shiva. Just like by Miluim, we set him aside all 7 days, and he worked those 7 days in Mechaneka, so we train him Kol Shiva. Absu so to the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, Marpisha so Kol Shiva, we set him aside all 7 days. V'Oivi Kol Shiva, need to serve all 7 days in Mechaneka, so Kol Shiva, and we train him all 7. Says Mar, wait a minute. You just said Ma Omer Be'inyan, what does it say in the Indian? V'chi Omer Be'inyan? Does it say anywhere by Yom Kippur 7 days? Sounds like it says 7 days, so you do 7 days. I don't say you do 7 days in Parshas Achrei Mos. It says we're Gavaldi Gechap. This is not in the Bavli. Gotta give Yerushalmi credit for this. It says when I tell you what's mentioned. Elamikevon Shemisas Bnei Aaron Amurbin. It says Vahi Achrei Moshe Bnei Aaron. When did the two sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, die? During which epic? The epic of the Miluim. So since they died in Miluim, so we say it's as if Miluim is written in the parsha over here. So it mentions not about most Aaron. It's as if the Miluim are slept into this Mikam and Shemnisas Bnei Aaron or Murabinyan. Lomesa El Miluim. They only died during the Miluim. Kamosha Armein. It's as if the Miluim are mentioned here. Says more. Wait a minute. The late Savior Shimon Lakish Mishmina Minatein Kra. Where does Shimon Lakish now learn the 7 days of Rosh from? From Miluim. Yeah, before he asked Rabbi Yochanan a big ganze kasha. How can you learn out from Miluim to Yom Kippur? By Miluim it's Ma'akiv, Yom Kippur is not Ma'akiv. So what's his kasha? So it says, El Kinish Hashem Mamila Makshilo. Was it being, Chas Hashem to say about Rish Lakish such a term, but he was being, nudniki. He knew there was learned from there, right? We want to ask Rabbi Yochanan and see if he can stump Rabbi Yochanan. The age-old desire of a Talmud to trip up his rabbi. Okay? All right, Mr. Rebut. A little bit of a Agadato. Actually, not yet. Rabbi Rebut said this is also in the Bavli. Time of the Shimon Lakish, Rabbi Shimon Lakish really does not learn out from the Lord. He learns out from Har Sinai. Vayishkon Kvod Hashem al Har Sinai. The glory of God rests on our seat. Moshe not go into the inner sanctum of the cloud. Actually, Scottish one until he was purified by the cloud called Shiva for 7 days. So to Aaron should not go and pays on Yom Kippur into the inner sanctum. Actually, Rabbi Shem Mishkan until he's anointed called Shiva for 7 days. I'll die to Rabbi Yochanan. So if that's the case, according to Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Mitzvah Bnei Aaron Amura Be'inyan. Why by Yom Kippur do we mention the death of Bnei Aaron? According to Reish Lakish, according to the first shot, it's only to make Zera Shava. Let's say that Miluim is 7 days and before Yom Kippur 7 days. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, doesn't learn that way. So what does he do by this? What does he do with this old time drasha? Right? I lost my place. So why is it being down in line before it? Oh no, you're right. The only time Miluim didn't do here. The first day of Nisan, you're right, which is Miluim. Why I mentioned that Yom Kippur to teach you just like Yom Kippur is mechaper on the Jewish people, so to the tzaddikim mechaper Yisrael tones to the Jewish people. Amrei Bar Barbina, another Josh in the same way. Why is it that the Miriam take place immediately at the beginning of Parshas Chukas? Just like the ashes of Paraduma told for the Jewish people, tzaddikim as well. Why in Parshas Seikh is the death of Aaron adjacent to the breaking of the Luchos? Teaches that the death of tzaddikim was difficult before God, because Shiva Luchos as if the Luchos were broken. Okay, another famous Chazal, Ksiv, says, they traveled from those bears Bnei Akon to Mosera. Shom Meis Aaron, there Aaron died. Aaron, there Aaron died in Mosera. Ba'alo Bahora Hormes died on the mountain of mountains. Says Moramah Dad V'Chsiv. Where do I know that? Because it says Vayal Aaron Akonel Har Pi Hashem. He went up to Har Vayel Mosham. He died there. Ella, fascinating Joshua. It came with Shemeis Aaron. Once Aaron died, the Stalkon and they covered, the clouds of glory parted. They left. The Canaanim came to wage war against the Jews because they were exposed. Although, see, that's what it says. The Canaanite king of Arad heard, who sat in the south, heard. The Jews were coming up. Israel, and he fought with them. What does Derech HaSorim mean? Through the pathways. They were happy that they heard that the great tourist leader, meaning Hanani HaKavod, had died, right? So now they became found for the Jews. And the Jews got fed up. It's the end of the 40 years. They want to go back to Egypt. They said, we're going to fight battles, forget it, let's go back to Egypt. They went backwards eight way stops. And the Shevet of Levi ran after to stop them. And the Shevet of Levi killed 8 families among Am Yisrael. They also killed 4 families in Levi. And what's the proof of that? Because it doesn't mention them, again, these 4 families, until Divrei Yomim, late in Divrei Yomim. Why? Because until that time they were severely depleted by the forces of the other Bnei Yisrael fought against Levi. When they come back, when they're popular enough to be recounted, we made David. There's a David. Although to see that's which it says, Yifrach b'yom of tzaddik, there will be blossoming in the days of the tzaddik for rob shalom and much peace, abli arech, without the moon setting and stopping. Okay? Amru. So once they sell up that Aaron's death caused them to wage war and spill each other's blood of war. What caused us to do this? They said, they didn't make a proper chesed, meaning they didn't make a proper vayim and hesped for him. So therefore, they did all the right things for him. Since it took place in Moseros, the Apostle attributes them Kilum Beis Sham, as if Aaron died there, V'nikbar Sham, and was buried there. And they did tzaddik for the chesed there.
I don't recall this in Bali. Was this?
No, it's Rashi and Chumash. It's not in the Bible, but it's Rashi and Chumash because it's a marriage as well. Okay, Rabbi Sai, that's it for today. I think we did 3 blot tonight. So, we'll call it an evening.